Little did Lawrence know, but Nora actually swindled him of a bunch of gold. He never seen it coming. But no, episode 12 of Spice and Wolf, great episode. I will admit there was some aspects of Holo transformed that I don't think was well done, like not enough detail or whatnot. And again, I do really feel like they try to make her look more like a puppy than an actual wolf. But still, overall, fantastic episode. And as per usual, Kevin Penkin, stop being so amazing. The music is just way too freaking good. It just ramps up the emotion. But yeah, I found a very odd change they made with the adaptation from the light novel in this episode. It's kind of a bothersome change, honestly. And then I went back and checked the last adaptation, and it's the same. Like, in both adaptations, they changed something very critical. Yeah, some people watching this episode might be wondering, how did Lawrence get Romerio tied up in a room? Like, did he go in there and mug the guy? Like, what did he do? Like, we've never seen Lawrence, I mean, besides a punch here or there, he's not like a very, like, strong person that's gonna go out there and just, like, kidnap some dude. Yes, in the original light novel, Holo jumped the wall with Lawrence, and at that point, he's pointing out, man, we could have just smuggled it ourselves. This seemed, like, really, really easy. And that technically is that mindset, that question mark that you might have. Why are they bothering with the sheep? Just jump the wall. But no, they actually went to where they figured Romelio would be waiting for the men as they came into the town, and they captured him at that point. And during the entire negotiation process that Lawrence is doing with Romelio, Holo has her jaws over his head. Like, he's literally not able to even scream. And so it's like, why? I guess somebody just decided that's too much in both cases, and they decided not to do that. It's just a really odd change, because again, my question mark was, how did he get him tied up? Did he knock him out when he wasn't looking and then dragged him into the building and nobody's seen this? It's just really odd. I mean, the other question mark that I had was like, well, okay, so they left Nora with all the people that are supposed to kill her. Like, they stopped the men from killing her. They knocked them out, whatever. And then they just left Nora and bolted out. And it's like, well, they could regain consciousness and go kill Nora and take the sheep. Yes, Lawrence went around and actually tied them all up and assumed that if some of them do get loose, they're not in good shape, so they probably wouldn't be able to do anything. So, again, some very odd changes that did have me questioning to the point where I had to go back and actually read through that novel volume and check that out. But this is the conclusion of Volume 2, so we're going into Volume 3. Again, I think that's the point in which we skipped something, so I'm guessing we're going to know here soon, possibly. No, I think the next volume does cover the boy and the stock exchange thing, so maybe not. We'll see. But no, anyways, jumping into the episode proper, yes, opening up with Lawrence burning his wrist in order to get loose, running into Holo, her yelling at him once again that he's too good-natured, and she could tell that he got beat up, that they got betrayed. But then, yes, implying that she might have to kill somebody at this point. Like, getting his mindset right that, you know, what happened right now, I'm probably going to have to kill somebody. I mean, it was fine over here. I was willing to get on my knees, which, yes, at that point implies the idea that she actually, you know, submitted herself to this wolf, which I think is a massive deal. Like, obviously, she's trying to play it off that she's fine with that, whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah, her pride probably hurt a lot. I think when I watched the first adaptation, that was pretty emotional to me, and it was even in this case, that she was willing to get down on her knees in front of this guy in order to kind of resolve the issue. It's obvious that she could have easily taken him down. I have no doubt that Holo could probably have taken out that youngster. But the problem is here that she's trying to get a peaceful resolution here for the sake of Lawrence. She did that for him. She did not want to have any more issues going forward. I actually probably should have double-checked that in the novel series, but that's basically what it's implying there, that she was willing to do that for Lawrence, just so they can have safe passage and this whole issue can be resolved. But yes, she comes back after doing that to find out the humans are being annoying, and she's perfectly fine with taking out some humans. She was able to resolve this issue, but here, no. But yeah, that kind of goes in that whole thing where he's trying to talk her into not killing anybody, but also to save Nora. That is his focus. And yeah, I do kind of get a bit here. There's like a side of me that almost believes that Holo is purposely trying to make it difficult for him so that he does beg. But at the same time, yes, I understand that thing that she kind of keeps hitting on, the idea that the moment I go out there, she's going to see me as an enemy. Like, there's no doubt. Wolves and shepherds don't mix, but he still kind of presses on her. I'll do anything, just please do it. But no, I did get a kick out of this entire conversation. It's like constantly she's getting angry about the situation. She's getting angry at him, how he's so good-natured and how he keeps doing all this stuff. And the entire time they kept her tail wagging. I love how much they emote her tail wagging constantly just to kind of show you that she's actually happy, even though it seems like she's angry. It's good stuff. I did like a lot of the animation in this beginning part of it. Holo herself looked fantastic. Even with the rain going, the characters themselves, the clothing's all wet and everything like that. They did a really great job with just the visual style itself. But yeah, they rush out there. They save Nora. It made sense they're probably not going to take her out at this point. Probably going to wait until they get closer to the town. Technically, she still has to feed the gold to the sheep. So, and yes, they still need to technically get to the town safely. So they still technically need her. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed by the fake out they have here, where Lawrence in his own head is seeing that Holo goes out there and attacks. And I will admit, that scene drug. Like, I don't know who was thinking about that, but that whole scene where it has Lawrence in his head thinking about Holo chasing after Nora sending the dog, and them kind of coming out ahead, it just drug. Like, that whole scene just drug out. So I don't know what they were doing there. And that kind of bugs me because I think they could have used that time there to actually have Lawrence and Holo jump the wall and hunt down Remedio and do that whole scene in full rather than waste all the time here. Anyways, whatever. I'm done complaining about that. But yeah, once they stop everybody, they get the confession that, yes, they didn't have enough money. Remedio is doing way worse off than they thought. That there was a plan from the beginning that they were going to double cross them because they barely even have enough money for themselves. This seemed kind of an odd situation here, but Lawrence basically presents Nora the option of betraying them, which I found very odd. Like, it's one of those situations where Lawrence goes, okay, here's the gold. He could have easily said, let's finish the transaction and be done with this. But no, he actually presents to her the option by giving her the conclusion. I doubt that Nora, in her mind at the time, had the option of, well, let's betray them because they betrayed us. But Lawrence himself actually goes down that branch and says, here's where we can betray them, but this is what will happen. And yeah, I completely agree with him. And I thought the same exact thing. I mean, yes, Holo herself obviously wants to just destroy them all, put Lawrence in danger. They betrayed us. She doesn't like them to begin with. So she's perfectly happy with let's just take them all out. Hey, let's go back into town. We'll take down Remedio. Everything's great. But no, he's basically being truthful here. And it makes perfect sense. We can take this money and run. He actually even says to her that it's a bunch of money. And I think that's where it kind of makes it worse. He's telling her it's worth way more, covering up the fact that it's not actually worth that much. So it's almost like teasing her with a large sum of money that's not even there if she takes it and runs. But yes, they're going to come after us. So you probably don't want to do that. We have to live on. I like how he puts that with Holo. We have to live on with our life. It's not like a fairy tale where we get our revenge and then we live happily ever after. These people their business will go down and they're going to come after us. But either way, it was okay. It's just literally him trying to essentially figure out Nora. As he kind of says it later on, it's literally just to figure out if she's truthful or not, or if she's trustworthy or not. And again, that all plays into, I think, his mindset and the idea of creating future business opportunities. This is his way of feeling out Nora to see that he can trust her for future endeavors. So, yeah, anyways. They go back to the town, and that's the point in which, in the anime, for some reason, Holo decides to go to the bar, while Lawrence apparently goes and finds Remedio, knocks him out, ties him up, and then takes him back into the building where he interrogates him and forces him into a contract. I think the nice thing about this situation is, yes, he's basically trying to get back at them. His priority is, yes, to pay off his debt, and yes, to secure them a deal even when Nora gets there. Because even if Nora gets there, if he doesn't figure out something with Remedio, she's not going to get paid either. So he's got to figure out some way of securing the deal before she even gets there. And that is to make him have to pay way more than he was supposed to. Which, yes, I did like this because the crafty thing that he does, Craft Lawrence does, is that he forces a actual debt, but not to himself, but to, obviously, Rowan. Because the Rowan Trading Company, they can collect. And I like that aspect because, yes, it kind of points it out more so in the novel series that the moment that he mentions pay out the debt to Rowan, immediately Remedio is like, oh, dang it. Because I think he knew that if he signed it to Lawrence, one, Lawrence will have to come collect it. Two, he could probably default on it at some point. Or yes, three, they can get rid of Lawrence. I mean, there's multiple options they have to get rid of Lawrence or get out of it. But if it's with Rowan Trading, they have to pay it, no matter what. And if they don't, they're going to be essentially the flip as what we were seeing with Kraft Lawrence. When Kraft Lawrence was in that debt and Romelio was setting them up with that, what were they doing? They signed it to Rowan. And then Rowan was going to have to deal with it. So he was going to end up being sold off onto a ship or something like that. So it's the same deal here with Romelio. So that was a really cool crafty thing that he did there. I didn't intend to say crafty that time. Really sneaky and and genius thing to do there. But anyways, that all wraps up with him running into Holo. I love the final scene. It was super cute with the joking back and forth. Who did you call out to? He's like, it was Holo. I called out to you. You're lying. Well, no, yeah, truthful, yeah, I don't even remember. But I probably would have said Holo because Holo's quicker to say than Nora. It's like, yeah, they're technically both essentially two characters, Nora and Holo. But I guess apparently Lo is like very much quicker than Ra, I guess. I don't know. They're both technically, L and R are basically the same in Japanese. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there. But yeah, it's apparently shorter. So he said that. Well, then say it again. And then he waits for the clock to go off. Yells it. He totally said Nora. Just to set her off. But it was super cute. And then he still kind of follows it up with still, it's easier to say. It was, that's something I've always liked about their relationship is that, yeah, there's times where you're watching Lawrence and you're like, dude, why would you say that? Give her what she wants. But that's technically what makes them work. That's what makes Holo like Lawrence so much. It's that kind of teasing they do back and forth that constantly just has her punching at him and stuff like that. If he was too easy, she would be not entertained and she'd be bored. That's how it works. It's that kind of relationship. They wouldn't work unless there was teasing involved. Other than that, yeah, I love this scene where he's explaining the situation about the gold and why he had Nora do that. And the entire time, Holo's tail keeps brushing up the back of him. And eventually he just kind of bats it off. It was one of those moments where I'm like, it dawned on me at some point, is she brushing his... Yeah, she's brushing his back. I don't know why he gets angry about it. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 12. Looking forward to the next arc. Again, I think I know what the next arc is, and it's a tough one. I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like, it's got a lot of clever aspects to it, but at the same time, there's parts of it that's extremely frustrating, and there's a massive amount of character growth. Again, if it's the arc that I think we're getting into, but we'll see. But I'll look forward to that next week. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you did, make sure to like button down below, comment, let me know what's the thought of the episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe before you leave. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips, links, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.